Iran. Pause. While I was just explaining in the context of what I mentioned earlier in diplomatic processes require integrity and seriousness, never accepting anything less. Or perhaps there was no specific deadline ever established. Therefore, such a claim cannot possibly be confirmed.
A single word from Tehran has thrown Washington's pressure campaign into doubt. Iran says it never received the ultimatum Donald Trump claims he issued, even as U.S. warships surge into the Middle East. Diplomacy is being denied, military signals are multiplying, and the clock is suddenly louder than the rhetoric. Iran has flatly rejected Donald Trump's claim that the United States issued a deadline for nuclear negotiations. Speaking in Tehran, Iran's foreign ministry said no ultimatum was received and none would be accepted. The language was measured, but the message was unmistakable. Iran will not negotiate under threat. Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai said Iran engages diplomatically with honesty and seriousness, but never under coercion. He added that such statements from Washington cannot be confirmed. In diplomatic language, that is a direct rejection. At the same time, Tehran escalated on another front. Iranian authorities summoned all European Union ambassadors to protest the bloc's move to label the Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organization.
We are currently in the decision-making phase, and we sincerely hope that none of the media speculation circulating can be confirmed. As to where, in what specific form, or with the involvement of which parties, because at this very stage we are still in the process of making decisions. Iran. Pause. While I was just explaining in the context of what I mentioned earlier in diplomatic processes require integrity and seriousness, never accepting anything less. Or perhaps there was no specific deadline ever established. Therefore, such a claim cannot possibly be confirmed.
No changes to the planned military exercises.
No incident has occurred involving the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The naval exercise of the Army of the Islamic Republic of Iran with China and Russia is an annual exercise which I believe has been held 6 or 7 times so far in the northern Indian Ocean, and it will be conducted as scheduled. Throughout yesterday and today, all European countries, specifically the member states of the European Union that maintain their embassies in Tehran, have been summoned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The strong protest of the Islamic Republic of Iran has been formally conveyed in writing to their representatives. But as I mentioned, this is merely a minimal measure.
Trump, however, tells a different story. The U.S. president says he warned Iran to come to the table or face military consequences. He has not detailed the deadline nor explained how it was delivered. Tehran says no letter, no call, no formal message ever arrived. The United States has moved the USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group into the Middle East, along with several guided missile destroyers. These are not symbolic deployments. They are forward-positioned assets designed for rapid action. Still, the White House has stopped short of confirming whether force will be used. Officials say all options remain on the table. Regional powers, meanwhile, are scrambling diplomatically, trying to prevent a confrontation that could engulf the wider Middle East.
Iran's foreign minister is issuing a stark ultimatum to Washington: act now or risk igniting a far wider Middle East war. Abbas Araghchi says the window for a fair nuclear deal is rapidly closing, warning that any turn toward military aggression would unleash consequences disastrous for the entire region. Speaking in a televised interview, Araghchi said he remains confident an agreement with Washington is achievable. However, according to Iran, talks are moving forward only through indirect channels, with friendly regional countries acting as intermediaries. Araghchi stressed that the format of negotiations matters far less than their substance. He made it clear that Iran will only discuss its nuclear program and will not negotiate over missiles or regional alliances. The message from Tehran comes as Washington signals cautious optimism. U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that Iran is talking seriously with the United States. But the president stopped short of ruling out military action. Pressed on whether a strike had been decided, Trump declined to give a clear answer. Instead, he confirmed that powerful American naval assets are moving toward the region. He said he hopes Iran will agree to a deal that Washington finds acceptable.
Sir, on Iran, the Supreme Leader today said that U.S. attack could spark a regional war. Do you have any response to that, sir?
Why wouldn't he say that? Of course you're going to say that, but we have the biggest, most powerful ships in the world over there, very close, a couple of days, and hopefully we'll make a deal. If we don't make a deal, then we'll find out whether or not he was right.
Could you give us an update on where your thinking is right now with Iran, if you have made a final decision on what you want to do?
I mean, I certainly can't tell you that, but we do have very big, powerful ships heading in that direction, as you know. I can't tell you, you know.
Okay.
But I hope they negotiate something that's acceptable.
Saudi Arabia's defense minister reportedly said that if the U.S. backs off a strike, that will only embolden Tehran. What's your reaction to that, sir?
Well, some people think that, and some people don't. If you could make a negotiated deal that would be satisfactory with no nuclear weapons, they should do that. But I don't know that they will, but they are talking to us. Seriously talking to us.
The uncertainty has heightened anxiety across the Middle East. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, has now issued a stark warning of his own. He said any war initiated by the United States would immediately turn into a regional conflict. Khamenei warned that threats and shows of military force would not intimidate the Iranian nation.
Now this gentleman also constantly claims, yes, we brought ships and what we've achieved. In my opinion, the Iranian nation shouldn't be scared by these things. The Iranian nation is not affected by such words. It does not fear confronting the truth. We are not the initiators. We do not wish to oppress anyone, nor do we intend to attack any country. However, should anyone harbor greed, attempt to launch an assault, or cause trouble, the Iranian nation will deliver a firm and powerful punch to them. The Americans must also be fully aware of this fact, that if they dare to launch a war this time, this particular conflict will undoubtedly escalate into a regional war.
Khamenei's remarks were echoed by Foreign Minister Irakci, who said Iran is fully prepared for war if diplomacy collapses. He warned that Iranian forces would target U.S. military bases throughout the region. Irakci said Iran's missile capabilities have been tested and refined, particularly during and after the 12-day war with Israel in June. He insisted that Washington must not underestimate Iran's ability to respond. At the same time, Tehran says it still prefers diplomacy. Irakci argued that a deal is possible if the United States lifts sanctions that have crippled Iran's economy for more than a decade. He also demanded firm guarantees recognizing Iran's right to peaceful nuclear enrichment. Without those conditions, he warned, negotiations will fail, and if talks collapse, he said, the consequences would not be limited to Iran or the United States alone.
We still haven't arranged any specific plans for our meeting with the Americans. There's no set schedule or agenda for us to get together with them at this point in time. We're still waiting for things to be finalized, so nothing is confirmed yet regarding our potential encounter. As I mentioned, we are prepared for fair and equitable negotiations. Preliminary steps must first be taken for such negotiations. This includes the format of the discussions, their location, and their subject matter. I had a very productive and extensive conversation today with Mr. Faidan concerning this particular issue, and we will certainly continue these important consultations with our esteemed friends across the entire region. and I am hopeful that we will soon be able to reach a clear and specific framework that can truly guarantee honorable negotiations. America, we have stated this on numerous occasions. I will reiterate this point once again. The Islamic Republic of Iran, just as it is in a state of readiness for negotiations, is also in a state of readiness for war. We are even more prepared now than we were before the 12-day war. And just as we responded with full force to the aggressor forces back then, this time it will be exactly the same.
And this time, my personal impression is that it's due to the direct involvement of the United States. Future conflicts will bear a profound and significant difference from past wars, and regrettably, it is quite possible that they will extend far beyond the confines of a mere bilateral engagement. This indeed is the inherent characteristic of the prevailing circumstances we face.
Behind the scenes, regional diplomacy has intensified to prevent escalation. Qatar's prime minister has traveled to Tehran for high-level talks with Iranian officials. Iran says the meetings focused on preserving peace and preventing the region from sliding into war. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has also spoken with Egyptian President. He reiterated that diplomacy remains Iran's priority, but warned that Tehran will not negotiate under threat or coercion. Meanwhile, Irakchi also addressed recent unrest inside Iran. He accused foreign-backed elements of hijacking economic protests and turning them violent. He claimed those disturbances were part of a broader intelligence operation linked to the recent war with Israel. Rejecting claims made by Donald Trump, Irakchi denied Iran planned mass executions of detainees. He insisted there was no plan for hangings and said the rights of all detainees would be protected.